each users will be given with specific orthogonal codes in order to transmit the information. So they could able to use the entire frequency slot as well as time slot, but they will be multiplexed in the code domain where each and where every users will be separated from the other users to avoid interference through orthogonal codes. Okay, so that is how. And the CDMA's motivation was mainly it was introduced for military communication, especially for since it is involving code division multiple access where your signal will be transformed to another digital signal using some codes. Kind of an encryption is happening over here. So primarily it was introduced in military communication. Later it was borrowed and then proposed as one of the access technology, not one of the access technology. I think it is the only access technology used in 3G communication systems. And the bandwidth, the spectral bandwidth was already again enhanced compared to 2G. 2G it was 200 kilohertz. Now it is 5 megahertz. Okay, as I already mentioned, CDMA 2000 is a family of 3G standards developed by 3GPP2, and it is backward compatible to IS-95. And the CDMA 2000 was also expanded to include this 1x CVDO standard, which enhanced the data rate to 5 to 30 Mbps. Okay. Now coming into fourth generation, similar to IMT 2000. Okay, if you come across the terminology called IMT-A, which A stands for advanced. IMT advanced. This is nothing but the set of requirements again issued by ITU for 4th generation and 4.5G mobile phone and internet access. Okay, so IMT-A is a set of requirements issued by ITU for 4th generation or 4.5 generation mobile phone and internet access. And here, two more multiple access technology which was introduced newly over here was orthogonal frequency division multiple access based on the OFDM technique, orthogonal frequency division multiplexing, where the users are multiplexed again in the frequency domain, but however using orthogonal carriers to counteract the frequency selective fading nature of the channel. Basically, there are two types of fading nature, flat fading and frequency selective. And frequency selective fading probably impacts the performance of the system, or it affects the performance of the system to a greater extent to nullify the frequency selective fading nature of the channel. This physical layer technology, which is called as OFDM, was proposed, and the multiple access technique based on this OFDM is called as OFDMA. Apart from this, there was also another revolutionary technology which was introduced, especially even in part of 3rd generation itself, it has come in, but primarily became very famous in the 4th generation wireless communication systems, which is MIMO system. That is multiple input, multiple output, where the transmitter or receiver will be having multiple antennas, mainly to improve the capacity as well as reliability. So these two revolutionary technologies helps the 4G system to achieve the data rate in excess of 500 Mbps. So if you see the 3rd generation system, it was speaking about of the order of 20 Mbps, of the order of tens of Mbps. Now the tens of Mbps is with respect to 3rd generation systems. Now 4th generation systems, because of this introduction of these revolutionary technologies, have pushed the data rates to 500 Mbps because of this OFDMA as well as MIMO schemes. Okay, a contemporary and the standard that again LTE is the standard developed by 3GPP. Again, it's developed by 3GPP2, and it satisfied the IMT-A requirements. Okay, mainly 4th generation system requirements. It was satisfied. Mainly, if you see LTE, though it has been developed by 3GPP, but strictly they won't call it as 4th generation. It almost only satisfied the requirements of IMT advanced systems. That is why sometimes they call it as 3.9G. It is almost. It is not exactly 4G, where LTE advanced that indeed met or exceed the requirements of IMT advanced systems, and properly we call LTE advanced as a standard for 4th generation systems, where the data rate is about of the order of more than 1 Gbps was proposed. Okay, and then there was another contemporary standard developed by WiMAX Forum, Worldwide Interoperability for Microwave Access. It was proposed by WiMAX Forum. 3GPP2 have no role to play after 4th generation systems onwards. So a separate forum they formed under the purview of WiMAX Forum to develop again a contemporary standard for LTE, and they came up with a standard called as WiMAX that indeed also met the requirements of fourth generation system. However, LTE gained more popularity. WiMAX kind of gained popularity only within a specific regions, but LTE gained major popularity in terms of fourth generation. LTE Advanced gained more popularity in terms of fourth generation systems. Now coming into the fifth generation, now here you can see compared to a fourth generation systems, it targets orders of increase in the magnitude of wireless data rate, spectral bandwidth, coverage area, and device connectivity. As well as this four are towards magnitude increase in all these four parameters which I have mentioned. Wireless data rate of the order of bits per seconds. Okay, spectral bandwidths. Okay, increase in the spectral bandwidth, which would make the users to transmit and receive high quality video contents, because high quality video contents indeed occupy more spectral bandwidth. Then increase in the coverage area, as well as increase in the device connectivity was concentrated mainly in this fifth generation wireless communication systems. Also, it targets to reduce the round trip delay and the energy consumption. With the massive device connectivity and with the introduction of Internet of Things, now the energy consumption of those IoT nodes is of a primary concern. So this 5G communication systems also concentrated on reduction in the energy consumption or increase in the battery life of IoT nodes, as well as reduction in the round trip delay, because mainly in fifth generation system, they are also speaking about high reliability, low latency communication, especially for a very mission critical type applications where high reliability and low latency means delay, are of a primary concern. So it also aims to massively aims to massively reduce the round trip delay. So approximately 10 Gbps is what is the target data rate, which is proposed by fifth generation systems, which is 10 to 100 times increase over LTE data rates. Then the device connectivity, you can see it has been proposed to support a dense connectivity. Dense connectivity means you can see of the order of 1 million devices per square kilometer. This is what is being targeted, especially for IoT applications, Internet of Things applications. And the coverage, mainly how much the link availability, how much percent of the time the link should be available. You can see that it has been proposed that 99.999% availability with a very small, vanishingly small probability of outage. It is what is being targeted for fifth generation systems. Then again, 10 times increase in the spectral bandwidth. As I've already mentioned, improved battery life, mainly to enhance the battery life of IoT-based sensor nodes. Okay, so this is also one of the primary main objective in case of fifth generation systems, as well as I've already mentioned reduction in the round trip delay, and it targets of around 1 millisecond round trip latency, which is 10 to 20 times reduction in comparison to LTE Advanced or 4G based wireless systems, where the latency which was targeted was of the order of 20 milliseconds. Here in fifth generation, it was of the order of proposed to be of the order of 1 milliseconds. I should not say it has come. Obviously, it is anytime it is due for the next year. Hopefully, because this year itself it was supposed to come, but due to other issues, it has been postponed. Let us wait for this, and then we will be seeing. These are all the targeted specs. Okay, targeted specifications. However, it should meet these specifications. Then only the system will be given they can able to give access. They can able to provide this 5G services. Any working organization or standards organization, they have to meet this requirements. Obviously, now. Obviously, IoT is also another major kind of to cater the needs of massive connectivity. This IoT paradigm was also being introduced in fifth generation communication, where it is nothing but the interconnection of different objects such as electronic smart devices, vehicles, home appliances, sensors, actuators. Okay, so it is interconnection mainly to collect and exchange information, basically, as well as to improve certain services, because collecting and exchanging information, then this information will be processed to improve certain services. And by 2020, probably it has been forecasted in this document 2 years before. I don't know the current stats, how much it has been. Now, at least by the end of this, it has been targeted that 50 billion of physical objects and smart devices will be coming into the network. will be coming into this Internet of Things, that is IoT landscape. And obviously, I've mentioned these objects could able to sense, communicate, as well as share